right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with my co-hosts Jimmy Marion and Darian Smith. And guys, UAB was able to get it done again as UAB defeats Tulsa 70-63, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But before we do, this game recap episode and all game recap episodes of the Blazer Victory podcast are brought to you by Cahaba Brewing Company. And guys, I was able to get down there Sunday to finally try that Cahaba Blood Orange Blonde, and it is really good. So if you're listening or watching us on YouTube, definitely go down to Cahaba and try that Blood Orange Blonde or any of their solid beer options at Cahaba, and let them know that you heard about them on the Blazer Victory podcast. And also, as a reminder, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button right now and make sure you are subscribed to where you do not miss any future episodes of the Blazer Victory podcast here on YouTube. But guys, ski UAB gets it done, 70-63. Darian, what are your initial reactions from this ball game Sunday?
Man, it was I don't know what that is. So I saw a comment from I think that was Blay on Twitter. He thought you was talking about the box by was that Roddy Ricch? It's such an old song. I can get that.
When he first said that, I'm so old school. Like, I was thinking that he was talking about "Man in the Box" from Alice in Chains, and I was like, that's not it.
See, I'm out of my depth with that. What's that? You're gonna have to teach me.
Oh, you don't know about Alice in Chains?
I don't.
Oh man, well I'll hit you up with some songs after the pod.
Yeah. But
you're not gonna give us a little preview right now, John?
Yeah, go ahead and sing it a little bit, man. Let's see what you got.
No, I've been told I'm not allowed to sing on this pod anymore. But if we do hit 200 subscribers, we will be singing "Ski" by Sexy Red.
Hey John, you was the one that said that. So John will be thinking.
Yeah, please don't sign me up with this.
I want to hear HR Jimmy sing it.
Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more subscribers than 200 for me to participate.
But yeah, so anyways, I thought it was a good gritty road win. This is the American Conference, and every game here in this conference is hard fought, whether it's UTSA, Tulsa. So if you can get, especially on the road, if you can get one of those road conference wins, you did good. And we did a good enough job to get a nice sizable lead, and we just kind of kept them at bay. Yes, everybody want to see their team step on somebody's throat and put them away for good, so you don't have to worry and have anxiety. But if you're a Blazer fan, you ought to be used to it by now. Like we've been in these situations all year. For the most part, we've won more than we lost in those situations. That's all you can ask for. And I'm pretty sure they were showing a graphic on TV, 5 points or less when I was watching the game. I can't remember. It was kind of like 12-3 at the time. Something like that. It was something insane. Maybe I'm overdoing it, but anyway, we're used to it. We're the Cardiac Blazers. That's what we do. And but this time we actually won by 7. That is a relief for us. It wasn't a 1-point game time situation going to overtime. None of that. So I'm just happy about the grit. And as a team play, we had some guys that were off. Our big stepped up. Gaines came off the bench again. He was most of our guard points. And we played good gritty defense. So that's what we just need to continue to grow. And I'm pretty sure we'll get into Yaks. I posed a lot of questions on Twitter about Yaks to guys, but we wait towards the end to get into that question.
Yeah, John, I had some of the same thoughts as Darian. Specifically, getting a road win in conference play is going to be challenging. We know that. And it actually has expanded beyond just road conference games for UAB this season. To what Darian was alluding to, just how close some of these contests have been for UAB. I will say, though, that yes, as UAB fans, we should be used to these close contests, but I'm still not used to it. I was still sitting here watching the game, heart was pounding, sweating, thinking, oh no, oh yes, oh no, oh no, oh yes. So it was certainly the roller coaster ride that we are continuing to see for UAB, but thankfully UAB was able to come out on top. One thing that is clear for me, and I've referenced this recently, is that doesn't mean my confidence in UAB is not high. So I do have a lot of confidence in UAB and the way that UAB is playing right now, whether it's the back-to-back wins at Bartow Arena against ranked opponents, or the way that UAB has looked in those road contests versus North Texas, in which they were able to win that game, or even at SMU, who's a good basketball team, and UAB led that game by 10, as we know, late in that contest. One thing that I think is interesting as I was looking at some of the different statistics is, would you guys care to guess where UAB's conference strength of schedule ranks amongst the American athletic teams?
It's got to be towards the top, like top 4.
First.
Darian hit it. UAB
Yeah.
to this point has had the toughest schedule in the American athletic play, according to Ken Palm. And that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes that's why I like to bring up statistics, because you're thinking, well, what do the stats say? And then does that make sense? And it does. When you think about UAB having played a Memphis already, having played at Charlotte, having played at FAU, playing FAU at home, North Texas on the road, SMU on the road. There's a lot of contests in which UAB has been a part of. And to start off the American athletic play 8-3, despite having the most difficult American Athletic Conference schedule, is quite impressive.
Definitely well said. And I mean, any conference, we remember the CUSA days. Anytime, any conference, it's hard to win on the road. But especially, those stats that you just said back it up. That even in this AAC, it's even harder. When you look at a team at Tulsa, I forgot that Eric Conkle had went over there from Louisiana Tech, where he built that great basketball program these last 6 years or whatever. He's trying to do that at Tulsa, and they will get it. They will get it figured out eventually. Caleb Williams. I mean, that Tulsa team had some really talented players, which provided a really good test for this UAB team, and it was on the road. But when you're playing on the road, it's tough to win ball games when you shoot 37% from the field. But UAB was still able to find a way late, whether that's Yaks getting offensive rebounds, getting to the free throw line late. UAB was able to, like Darian said earlier, grind out a win on the road. So of course we'll take it 8-3. Big ball game this Sunday as North Texas will come into Bartow. We need another big crowd there. But yeah, let's give some player individual effort. Of course, Yaks gets AAC Player of the Week again for the second time. 11th double-double of the year, 17 points, 11 boards, and 3 blocks. One day he's going to get a triple-double. But, I mean, Yaks, is there anything that we haven't said that we can say about this man? I mean, he is playing lights out, and that's what UAB, this team, needs, is especially when shots aren't falling. We need to see him aggressive in the lane, getting offensive rebounds, getting this team, extra opportunities to get some of those shots to fall. I thought Will Shaver had another good game again. I mean, he had to come in for a few minutes. He had 4 points, didn't he? I know he had a couple baskets and a couple free throw attempts. So this was a really solid win for UAB. And I know on paper Tulsa doesn't look good, but like Darian said earlier, I don't care if it's UTSA, Wichita State, FAU, Memphis. You better bring it each time you play in this conference, because they're going to give you a good game. And they gave UAB a hell of a game, but credit to the staff, to this team, for finding a way to get the dub on the road and improve to 8-3 in conference play. And Darian, I don't know, Was anything? Did I miss anything on Yaks? I mean, we've we've
Yeah,
hit on it all.
I was gonna talk about a couple things like, before I all the way get to Yaks, I want to just give a shout out to Eric because on the night where AJ Vasquez couldn't get it going, where Butter only had, he had 9 points. He was only 3 for 10. Did he make any threes? He was 1 from 7 from deep, right? On a night where Daniel Ortiz could not get it going on the offensive end, he didn't have any points. Like, we weren't getting anything from our guards. We got 7 from Tony, but Tony's usually out there for his athleticism and his defense. And once he gives you something positive on offense, you take it and run with it, right? Eric had 17 and 7, with 3 of 5 from 3. And those threes, he stepped into them confident, right? It just felt like they were going to go in because of the way he shot them. It was good looks. And we needed all of that from our guards. Our guards particularly just couldn't get it going. And they didn't have bad games. The shots just wasn't going in. And it's like that sometimes. But his was, and we needed all of that. Shout out to number 4. I think his name was Daughtery, from Tulsa, freshman. That kid was giving us fits, man. I really like his game. I wonder if Tulsa's going to be able to keep him going forward. He puts his head down and he just drive. I'm like, oh my God, can we just stop? You know what he's gonna do. This dude is not trying to shoot the ball. He was putting his head down, but he was a crafty finisher. He could draw contact. He would Euro step, and we was having trouble. And I think we kind of figured it out as we went. So shout out to us, like, learning how to just basically defend toward the end. Just basically, the guy was like crafty. He could draw fouls on you, and Yaks kind of figured it out, was able to block his shot a couple times. I'm thinking about conference play real quick, and I'm just thinking about at SMU and at Charlotte, and how we could have had those dubs. We could have had those. So it's not only that. It's not the only game we were really out of in conference was at FAU. We just had a horrible game, but we was leading both of those games, like, going down the stretch. We kind of let go of the ropes as we was on the road. So I'm proud of the guys for having this record in conference, but we could have had that 10-1 record is right there. And I'm actually proud of that, though. Just to know that, hey, it was right in our grasp, and that's okay. That happens. Now, as far as Yaks. Oh yeah, we didn't even say nothing about JD. JD actually got the UAB basketball player of the week. He had a double, 14 and 11. Even though he had his foul trouble, when he was in the game, he was way too much for them to handle on the block. And I love when JD is super aggressive down there because not too many people can handle him down there, and he has a physical presence. JD had a really good game for us. We needed all 14, and he had some timely clutch buckets when we needed them. Like, when we need organization on offense, we go to JD. But the question I was posing on Twitter about Yaks is I can't just think of 3 players in the American when they was talking about it. I'm like, I can't consistently, week by week this year, that's been better than Yaks. If you take away those few games, I just remember like yesterday, because Jimmy was the main one that was kind of seeing the potential in him. He was like, man, he kept talking about his confidence. Like, if he get his confidence going, I'm telling you, this guy, if you get he's almost there. And we was just talking about his rebounding at first, right? And then next thing you know, the confidence started coming, and it's exactly, what Jimmy was alluding to. And now he gets better each week. And he's won Player of the Week twice in the American. And if you go back and look at his last 5, just go look at his last 5 games. It's not about just points. He scores. He's the best rebounder. He's probably going to be the most blocked shots. Oh yeah, he might throw in 5 assists. Oh, he might hit 2 or 3 threes. Oh, he sinks his free throws at above 80% clip. And you started thinking, like, that's the most well-rounded player in the American. I can't think of. I've seen David Jones from Memphis. David Jones is a good scorer. that's where you end the sentence. Now, I really love Janelle Davis, so
I was gonna say that's the only one that you can make an argument for. I think.
I like Janelle's game. I really do because he's tough. He can hit threes. So if someone wants to make that argument, I'm cool with that. But I can come back to you and say he doesn't have to. Yax is guarding 1 through 5, and he's averaging the most block shots, right? Like, and he's probably the leading scorer, and he is the leading rebounder. It's kind of like, come on. So when I think about it, I actually want to know his NBA evaluation because what can he not do? And if you're looking for somebody raw with potential, he's right there. So I was just thinking about that, and I was just wondering, pondering what y'all thought about it.
Yeah, and you think about it too, Darian. I mean, this is a guy that, give him a full off season, the rest of the season, and then give him an off season, he's going to come back hopefully stronger even, next season. So like this is a guy that we see how scary he is for opposing teams, but this guy could be even more scary. Is it more scary or scarier? Scarier for opposing teams, yeah. So yeah, I love it, and I mean it goes back, what we said a couple episodes ago. AK post game was talking with Steve Mitchell, and he had told Steve at a practice that this guy could be the most athletic guy to ever play at UAB, and he's so raw. He was raw then, So it's yeah, definitely good, big things to look forward to, even more for Yax going forward.
Ken Palm has the American Athletic Conference all-conference team as John L. Davis 1, FAU, David Jones, Memphis at number 2, Jason Edwards, who UAB will see on Sunday at number 3, Zurich Phelps, who UAB has seen from SMU at number 4, and then Vlad Trashbag Golden at number 5 from FAU.
I'm glad not to see Quinterly. I was worried that he was going to list Quinterly in there, but good thing.
So the guy from SMU and David Jones as the forwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is updated or if this was going into American Athletic Play. So I have to understand
that has to be going into. That has to. There's no way you win Player of the Week twice in the American and you're not on that list. I don't even know what those other guys been doing. Like I don't know, man. I gotta look at that. I gotta look at that. There's no possible way.
Well, I thought what was great about Yax in the last matchup against Tulsa was at one point I had looked up and he was 3 for 12. And I was like, man, he's taking good looks, but they're not falling. He's impacting the game in other ways as he typically does. And so he was still having a good game. But down the stretch, he was able to connect, I think, when it was his last 3 shots to finish whatever it was. I think he finished 6 of 15. I had to go back and look at the official box score. But it was the final 1 minute and 51 seconds of the game that Yax was credited with a block shot. So on the defensive end, he was making plays. He scored a bucket, and he had those 2 clutch free throws that UAB needed to kind of pull away a little bit. And so what I love about Yax is, again, he's we've talked about over and over again, even today, just the evolution and the, how well he has grown in his game at UAB this season. And he's also producing down the stretch. So you guys talked about some other guys. I just had a few notes about. Has there been anything official about why Eric Gaines came off the bench? Have we heard anything or seen anything on social? No.
I have not heard yet. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing was on post game, AK was kind of joking around about how, like if it was Gene Bartow, like he'd probably just keep doing the same thing because it's working. Like Eric Gaines came off the bench on the road against North Texas. We won. He came off the bench, obviously, against Tulsa, and we won. And then he's doing a good job from three-point range. Darian mentioned 3 of 5 against Tulsa, and that was certainly needed in this ball game. And that's 2 straight contests for Eric with at least 2 triples. And he has increased that 3-point shooting percentage by 4 percentage points over the last couple of weeks. And so we know that Eric Gaines is better than a 20% free throw shooter. He's not potentially a 40% free throw shooter. He has not been his career, but it's going to even out some. That's going to be huge for UAB down the stretch if Eric Gaines is hitting, especially efficiently, but 2+ triples a game. Tony, you mentioned earlier, Darren. I thought that he was awesome, especially in that first half. He responded. He had 5 straight points. I think UAB was down 3, and Tony hit a 3, then had a steal, a finish, and transition, which helped UAB take the 2-point lead. He drew a charge. He was just doing Tony things, if you will, blue collar. Just doing that. You mentioned Ortiz earlier, Darren, so about how he couldn't hit a shot in this particular game. He's actually what I would envision without looking at all the game logs for his career. This has to be his coldest shooting streak of his career. He's fighting through some serious adversity right now, shooting the basketball, and we know that he's much better than this. But if you look at the last, 4 contests? At least 3 contests. He was 1 of 4 against SMU, 0 for 5 against FAU, and 0 for 6 against Tulsa. That's 1 of 15 in his last 3 games. So he probably has never been that cold in his entire basketball life. And UAB's got some big games down the stretch, and my confidence is still super high that Ortiz is going to be able to, knock down some key jumpers for UAB. And then one more note, we already talked about Shaver. I thought Shaver did a good job drawing 2 fouls against that freshman big for Tulsa, who was giving us a little bit of trouble on the boards, Reed. So I thought he did a good job there, and he continues to look better and better. And I think his confidence in himself and the confidence of just the normal UAB fan is at a higher level when they see Shaver come in the game, and that's much needed when you think about Javian Davis, who would be departing as a senior from UAB, and needing Shaver to continue to develop for UAB. But last note, real quick, from an individual perspective, and we can talk about other team stats later. But as Darian stated, great overall game for JD. He hit his first 2 jumpers. He looked really good early. And we know when JD is heavily involved in the UAB offense, when he can get shots up, it's good for UAB, generally speaking. 11 shot attempts was the most that he has had individually since Montevallo, where he had 13 shot attempts. And surprisingly, I would not have guessed this if you asked me after the first game, but that was only Javian Davis's 3rd double-double of the season. He had a double-double against Bradley. He had a double-double against UNC Asheville, and then he had a double-double against Tulsa. And partially, some of that's going to be because of foul trouble. Right, he's had that in contests, and also it's because, in my opinion, Yax is just gobbling up rebound after rebound after rebound down low, which contributed to that as well. But kudos for JD for having a really stellar game against Tulsa as well.
Definitely. And guys, looking at the box score, did you realize that UAB shot 25 3-pointers? I mean, I knew that watching it, I was like, this is probably more than they need to be, but 25. And looking at the official UAB release from UABsports.com, it's saying that this is tied for their 2nd most in a game this year. And it doesn't list the other game. Jimmy, would you know what that was? What would that other game be?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but what I will say is that that's not been the recipe for UAB to win games, to attempt more threes than the opponent. We just don't do it often. And when you look at that, when UAB takes more threes than the opponent on the season, they're 3-3, so 500 basketball. And when they take less than, which is just by the nature of how UAB typically plays, UAB is 12-5 on the year. So for us to go in there and shoot threes, and hey, it makes sense because we don't shoot threes necessarily efficiently. So why continue to throw them up? But UAB was able. They had a few different stats in this game that I found interesting. They lost the rebounding battle. They lost points in the paint. So there was a few important categories that UAB typically thrives in, and that is a part of that recipe for success. But there were other elements, specifically with Tulsa. I thought Kobe Williams, I haven't looked at all of his game logs. We know how good he was at La Tech. He wasn't super involved offensively. He didn't make a huge impact on the game from my, eyes. And then also, Tulsa was ice cold from 3. So whatever they were, I think they were 3 of 15, if memory serves me right. So they only hit 3 threes, and in conference play, I think they were hitting close to double-digit threes on average. So that was really an off night for them. And UAB didn't turn the basketball over. They turned over once in the first half, which had to be like a season low. And those 6 second-half turnovers, 2 or 3 of them were probably in the last 3 minutes. UAB, despite playing more of an up-tempo game against an up-tempo team, really did a good job. And that starts with Eric Gaines, by the way. But UAB overall did a good job of taking control or controlling taking care is the word I'm looking for with the basketball in this one.
Yeah, I looked it up. UAB attempted 26 three-pointers at FAU, which was a loss, and also attempted 25 against McNeese. So that definitely holds up, Jimmy.
But I would say it's like this is where I wish we kind of had some access to like some advanced metrics. Maybe Charles Vaughn, maybe that's something that writes their blog. Maybe he can look into this. It's the type of threes, right? So in UAB football, if Zeno, if we just playing crossers and we throw underneath and check downs all day, teams are gonna scoot up. Like they're gonna play up and say, "Hey, beat us! Y'all can't beat us over the top." And I do believe that's what was happening here at Tulsa. Why won't you pack the paint against a team that does not like to shoot threes and then have guys that have, in the 20% or low 30% shooters on the team, right? Shoot the threes. Like, that's what you're going to say. So at some point, you're going to have to make the threes. And I have no problem with our team. I think we have enough shot makers that they can make open shots. I don't like the whole step back. Let's not do too much of that stuff. The whole, let's dance around, come around, I'm coming off a screen. Or you can tell when guys are pressing. A couple of times, I saw Ortiz. You can tell when he presses a little bit. Look at his shots versus Memphis. Did y'all see that clip when Penny was like, same play? Oh, did he just, because it was a nice open shot off of a screen, a pin down screen. He was coming around. It was open. It was in rhythm. Perfect. It got him going. That's what's up. Like, that's cool. Versus coming off a screen, kind of nothing there. Oh, well, let me step back, step back three. Listen, the percentage of that is so low. I would rather, if it's an end of the clock situation, just go in there and try to get fouled, or maybe give it to like Butter and see if he can get to his spots. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the FAU game, I bet you if we go back and look at those games against McNeese, a lot of those shots were kind of like, please go in. Like, I got to make something happen. Hero ball type of three. So I'm proud of the guys. I'm proud of Will Shaver. If I didn't think he would be at this point that he is right now in the season, he looks so much better.
When we saw him at the beginning of the year, those conversations that we had offline.
Like, whoa, this is not the guy we signed up for.
Right. And I know he was hurt, but yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't really been healthy since high school. So we got to remember that. Like, he hasn't been healthy since high school. Now he's finally starting to look like a basketball player. Like, forget everything else. He's looking like a basketball player. So now he's getting a little bit of pop back. Imagine if he has an off season, he's able to lose 15 pounds. If I was Will Shaver, I would hit the weight room hard. I'm talking about hard. I would try to get down to like 255 and be all muscle, look like Trey Jemison. Because if he can get some athleticism while maintaining his strength, and then I also would get in the gym. And we saw in his highlights that he does have a feathery touch. I remember in the beginning of the year when he did get in the game, he was shooting free throws, and those things were bricks, right? Like, boom. Now I saw him getting up to the line. He was cashing them. I'm like, this dude is different. Like, you said something about like feeling good in his minutes. I found myself saying, hey, put Will in. Why hasn't Will played in a while? Yeah. I'm like, oh, what? Like, what are so? I feel really comfortable, especially against Reed. He was putting that body on him, and Reed couldn't really do nothing with him. And I'm just really proud. I'm just really proud. I almost feel like how I felt with my team, in which my 8U team girls. We only lost 2 games this year. We won Blazer style the last game of the year, right? Like by 1 point. It was all dramatic, right? I felt like the growth. That's what I really enjoyed watching those girls. I really, really love seeing them grow and how they want to play basketball again. I achieved what I wanted to achieve. I look at this team. Eric has grown so much. Butter has turned into this Kobe-like clutch gene guy. And just seeing, but Yax is like the definition of it. But just seeing Will, Christian Cole, all that guys, like I know Coach AK. Now that I think about it, this has to be like one of the best jobs he's done. I'm really thinking about the teams, but I'm talking about as far as individuals, players. So many of them growing. I can't think of a year because if we think about last year, we had what we had, right? It was Jelly Trey, and then it wasn't really too much growth in between. This year though, we've seen them. It's like, oh, just right before our eyes. Like, look at our babies. They're crawling. They're walking now. They're saying da da blah blah. Like, look, they have really grown. Even JD, the JD has grown a lot. Last year he could barely hit free throws. Right. I feel really comfortable at the end of the game. I'm like, pass it to JD so he can shoot the free throws. Like, I don't like we're missing too many 1-on-1s. He'll make his 1-on-1s. Right. It's just crazy to see it. I'm sorry. I kind of went off into a little rant there, but I just wanted to emphasize the point that the coaching staff has really personified the essence of coaching, which is developing players and watching them grow. That's the most satisfying feeling you can have as a coach.
Hey, one more note on Shaver. I don't know if you guys realized it, but I was watching him defensively, and AK talks about that voice that Trey Jemison used to have. And that's what I know we don't have time. I just want to talk about Trey Jemison for like an hour and like what he's doing for the Grizzlies. But I saw Shaver. You could see it through the screen. Like I couldn't hear obviously what he was saying, but you could see him shouting from that 5 position, directing, and like that's something that is going to be huge for him too. So not only is he individually contributing, but he's filling that void, that voice that UAB is accustomed to having from that 5-man. That's what you need. AK says, say something, see something. And to have the guy that's the biggest man on the floor to be able to direct people is going to help UAB continue to see improvements on the defensive side of the ball.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up, Jimmy. Now, we talk about the growth in this team and in the staff, on helping with the growth of this team. Fans, UAB fans, come out to Bartow Sunday afternoon. We need another big crowd. We need a 6,000 plus.
Let's do it.
Rocking Bartow Arena at 2:00 this Sunday. So, hey, church is going to be over by then. Come on down, grab your lunch, grab some lunch after church, and then come on down to Bartow Arena.
Repeat that time. What time it is again, John?
2:00.
2:00.
Yeah.
So you still got time afterwards.
Yeah. Hey.
To do whatever you want to do. We gonna feel good after this win. After turning it up, you're gonna turn up for the Lord earlier after church.
Yes.
Before the game, and then you're gonna come to the game. You can come from church straight to the arena, right?
Hey, right.
How you want to
bring the
it.
whole congregation with you. Get the church van and just drive straight to Bartow Arena.
Yeah, like tell the pastor before you go up, like make the announcement, like we packing out Bartow because we're supporting the city, right?
Yes.
We're gonna support the city for a change. So let's make it out to the game. I plan to be there, with my crew. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a seat, sit by y'all boys, man. My crew, we be turned up, like we turned up like ransom, So I'm gonna try to see if I can get over there by John and Jimmy at some point.
I'm gonna try to convince John after this season to move his seats in our section and let's just make section 119 the Blazer victory. Let's just sell out that section and get over there and get loud.
Hey, that's a good idea. We need to go ahead. That's a great idea.
I've been in those seats for like 20 years, so I'm not moving. But let's get everybody else over there.
I'm cool. Section 119 Blazer fans, if y'all are kind of like me. Yeah, if y'all kind of like me, and I've always had everybody has responsibility, but I've always had to work and do all these things. I got all these children, y'all. So, but if I get some season tickets, Section 119 Blazer Victory Podcast listeners, Section 119 is where it's at. That's where we're gonna try to grow this thing from. We're gonna try to be like Ransom.
Shout out to Blazer Boosters, Jay Anderson, my guy. Shout out to Brad Hardikoff. Give him a call. Hey, I used to work 3 years as an intern in that department. I could tell you about some season tickets. I could tell you there's 2 season tickets behind 2 rows behind me that's available. So if you're looking for season tickets, call it. No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, let's make Bartow Arena a true home court advantage and let's get this dub.
I thought you
Please
was going to
do.
go Trump with it. Let's make Bartow great again.
That's right.
Hey, and if you're a student listening to us right now or watching us, let us know. Hey, we got some Blazer victory flags that we can give y'all to show
That'd
off
be
and
what's up.
get it jumping again like it was for the FAU game. So I mean, we could. I know we're running long. We're 35 minutes in. We could preview the North Texas game, but it's the same old North Texas. You know what they're going to do. They're going to be
Play
hard,
slow.
tough, and play slow. Yeah, but they're going to be tough on defense. You got to get to that free throw line against them. And we saw that a tale of two halves last game in Denton. UAB struggled to get to the free throw line in the first half, but what did they do in the second half and in overtime? Got to the free throw line and hit the free throws.
And something to watch with them, they've been beat up, so I don't know what the status is. They just played SMU on the road in a really tough
Lost a close game, yeah.
Yeah, close game, tough matchups. They did really well there. I'm trying to quickly get to the box score to see. They've got 2 guys who were out recently. I see Scott Sissoko.
I
Ruben
was looking
Allen.
for him.
Isn't Ruben Allen the guy, or Robert Allen? I think he was their guy that was out for a while. I have to go back and look. But if they're fully healthy, it's going to be a different team coming into Bartow Arena. So we need that home court advantage in UAB's favor for sure.
Look, and I know people have said this before, but UAB made the jump to the AAC. We see how good this league is and how tough it is to win any ball game. If we can get 6,500, even 7,000, hey, get your butt to Bartow Sunday. This team is good. We've talked about them all year, from the lows of losing to Jonesboro to Arkansas State, losing to Southern Miss, and now you've knocked off 2 ranked teams since then. Get your butt to Bartow, be loud, show some passion, show some fire, and let's help get this team to their 9th win and creep into that top 4 to get that first round bye in the AAC tournament.
And just to clarify for the audience, it was Reuben Jones that was out for a while. He returned against SMU, and then Nolan is the guy that we are facing off at North Texas. I think he has been out. He hasn't played since the UAB game. So, like, if they're fully healthy and they have all their guys, that's going to be tough. And just on John's note, that's what the head man expects, is to have 6,000, 6,500 people there. He said it. So we need to keep that in mind, and we need to be showing up like, what AK and that staff expect of us as well.
Yeah, I know we talk about the growth of a program, but this is it. Like they've responded by winning. They have responded by showing results. And we have responded. We saw 2 really good games at home. We have to continue this as the norm. And this is how you do it. This is how you create it. Like, we always wonder for that right mix. Well, we beat 2 top-ranked teams at home, right? And North Texas is another team that's really good, and we know that. But it shouldn't even be about the team. It should be about what the team has grown into, and we have to develop along with the team, right? We have to get back to where we are. So I'm proud of us. I'm proud of the students. I want to, because I was very critical going back to last year. I was very critical. I always called them out, and they keep showing up, and they keep on being the lifeline. They are. So the students, y'all keep growing, and y'all keep, because it's really y'all will carry us through it. It's your program. Y'all the one that's in college. We're done, right? But you guys are in college in those dorms. Keep on showing up for this team, and we're gonna latch on to y'all. So proud of y'all. Keep growing. Keep on getting better. We all get better, just like the basketball team. I'm working on my ski skills, right?
Ski.
So I can be loud. I'm like in the mirror trying to see how I'm gonna dance at the game, like how I'm gonna swag surf. Like, all right, y'all, let's get better. We're gonna get more coordinated. Like even thunderclap at the basketball game's been all right.
Hey, no, I hate the thunderclap at the basketball game, and that's a different subject. I think that's a football only thing. I think we've talked about this before. But
yeah, we have. Yeah. It's been okay. Like, when when we're winning and maybe some drinks are flowing a little bit, like it's all right. I'm down for anything. Then it's like, oh, okay, cool. We're gonna thunderclap at the basketball game, whatever. It is kind of cringe, but oh well.
Yeah, let's go. Well, again, guys, 2:00 Sunday, UAB North Texas, Bartow Arena. Get there, bring a couple friends, bring your family, and also, hey, North Texas plays Thursday night. They've got to host Memphis, so UAB gets some rest heading into that game Sunday. You can get some scouting Thursday night, 7:00. I think it's ESPN Plus. Memphis travels down to North Texas, so you can see how North Texas fares in that bout. But Jimmy, you want to go ahead and send us out?
Blazer Nation, just blaze. See y'all Sunday.
Just blaze.